And good day, everyone. We are Group 7, and today we are going to discuss what we have found out in the article A Mixed Blessing Students and Instructors' Perspective about Off-Task Technology Use in the Academic Classroom. So, but first, let me ask you a question. So, what comes into your mind when you hear off-task technology? So, is it neither good or bad? So, basically, off-task is defined as behavior not related to classroom objectives, rules, or lesson by using technology. So, this research addressed this gap by examining two main factors. The first one is how do students and instructors perceive technology in the classroom? The second is who do they believe should for minimizing off-task technology use in class? So let's go to the first one. So this is the perception of students and instructors. So for the students' perception, students perceive technological devices in the classroom are inevitable but not necessarily bothersome. The second one is no technology in is unrealistic and old-fashioned. The third one is students reported that seeing screens of off-task technology users was somewhat or very distracting. For instructors perceive that use of cell phones and on the other hand as an off-task activity, although they admitted that students can also get distracted using laptops. And the last one, instructors perceive that students' use of technology in classroom is a problem. So this the perception of students and instructors of how or how they perceive technology in the classroom. And you can notice that instructors and students held similar views on the effects of class related technology used on the user and the other students in the class. I mean, they have the same views whether it is bad or good. And despite some agreements about directionality of this relationship, research shows that classroom that promote student engagement have less of task technology use and more opportunities for active learning, whereas traditional formal foster boredom and cognitive overload among students, which leads to increased off-task. And students and instructors become aware or conscious of technology in classroom and see what is the difference when students and use of technology in the classroom, or I mean between the use and between student engagement and technological distractions and the impact of technology in learning. So the second factor will be reported by Leonora.
A pleasant day to everyone. The next question that was stated on the research article that we're going to tackle is who do they believe should for minimizing off-task technology use in class? As you can see on your screen, we divided the perception into two. We have the student's perception and the instructor's perception. Under students' perception, we have the following statements. Classroom discussion should be entertaining and not boring. Speak up. Instructors should intervene when some students distract others. Instructors should be able to motivate, encourage, and teach the students about the impact of their actions. On the other hand, we have the following statements under instructors' perception. Students are responsible for their self-control and self-regulation. Students must be fully aware of their environment and how they affect others. Students should understand the balance between personal freedoms and collective responsibilities in an academic classroom. We are not going to follow the flow of statements on your screen or in the slides, but we are going to follow the flow of statements based on the research article. Since we know that each statement are connected to one another, let's start from the student. For these students, they wanted to be in charge of their own learning and be treated like adults because for them, they were not only students but also consumers who are paying for their own education. So basically, for these students, the use of on and off task purposes of technology is somewhat informed and personal. They think that it's not appropriate to tell someone what they can and cannot do as long as it does not disturb others' learning. And for them, they think that such policy is considered babysitting adults in which they regard it as a waste of time. That is somehow an insult towards distractors. As what I said earlier, if these students wanted to be in charge of their own learning and doesn't want to be told of what to do, then they are responsible for their own actions. For in such case, the use of technology in class may distract others. Thus, students believe that in cases like this, instructors can and should intervene since not all students are confident to speak up. However, even these students feel like they are responsible for the distraction in class. They also see the big picture that instructors are also responsible for the technology related distractions because they regard some discussion as somewhat boring and lack of engagement. That's why they said they were out of focus in the class. Based on that, we can say expectation to be entertaining of class discussion arise. Students pointed out that instructors need to be humorous as what the students wanted to see. However, one professor, based on the article, expressed that there was unfair battle, a competition between them, the instructors, and the technology. The instructors believe that there are certain topics that are not suitable for interesting and engaged lecture. Explaining this, instructor said that not everything you have to learn is going to be exciting. That's why they call it work and not fun. Yet while the students feel like it's their choice to use technology, they also see that it is instructors' responsibility to motivate them. And this is true for what we know that instructors are also an advocate. As what I said earlier, such intervene of instructors from technology-related distraction is considered. Furthermore, instructors also see themselves as an educator and not merely a course instructors. Like what stated on the research article from one attending a focus group quoted, classroom learning is a step in the direction of one's movement toward the real world, end of quote. From that, another instructor also suggested that classroom learning isn't all about particular topic, but it is also a preparation towards the world of professional interaction. That's why, from what said earlier, there are certain topics that are not suitable for interesting. Besides, instructor don't see that technology breaks are best to serve the students and their role as an educator is not merely about policing. From that perspective, we quote, the job of instructor is to ensure that students are ready in the workplace and Guide them in the direction of the real world in hopes to maintaining their professional focus and class. End of quote. Based from what we tackled, we can clearly say that it is the responsibilities of both students and instructors to minimize the use of off-task technology in the class. Such teamwork to reduce the technology-related distraction in the class is necessary to meet the best learning engagement between the students and the instructors. Thus, I call that collaborative effort to minimize the use of off-task technology in the class. So, that's all. Thank you.
So, after being presented with the results from the two main questions of the article, which was how participants perceive off-task technology use within the classroom, and number two, who should be taking responsibility in minimizing off-task technology within the classroom. So now we proceed to the reflection part of the presentation, or what we realize after reading the article. First, both sides, students and teachers, perceive that technology, when used for class-related purposes, becomes an integral part of learning, otherwise a means of distraction. Number two, students and teachers have their own respective responsibilities within the classroom for regulating off-task technology. Hence, striving for a learning community is a must to reach a common goal, that is for students to. And yes, this article is a Canadian research which is conducted from a research-based university. So, ang tanong natin ngayon, posible ba nating magamit to within a Philippine setting? So, we will now proceed to the application slide. Since it is suggested to create a learning community within the classroom, democracy should be practiced within the Filipino classroom. So, ano nga ba yung function ni democracy dito? One is that democracy provides student-centered learning experience. So, teachers provide opportunities for their students and let them participate within the classroom discussion. Because isa sa mga naging issue dun sa article is that ang mga estudyante natin ay kusang inaalis ang kanilang attention sa klase or dun sa lesson is because ang boring ng klase. Kaya mag-off-task technology use na lang sila. So, in order to take attention, why not give them attention? So, bibigyan natin sila ng small roles, bibigyan natin sila ng opportunity to choose what they want in terms of sa compromise ng mga assessment. And yun nga, we let them participate in the discussion. So, we let them share their experiences, we let them share their ideas. So, this learning community not only builds a teacher-student relationship, but also student-student relationship. Kasi sila rin naman yung magtutulungan sa huli. So, in order to do that, kailangan nating i-promote yung democracy within the class. Then next, it is the teacher's responsibility to prepare students not only to transfer knowledge, but also equip them with the proper skills to be part of the future workforce. Ang school kasi ay isang practice ground for the real world that they will face after graduating college, or actually kahit graduating high school lang eh. So, maliban dun sa course content natin, kailangan natin turuan sila ng mga proper skills in order to be part of the real world or of the future workforce. So, kailangan natin silang i-prepare for ano nga ba yung mga dapat skills, ano ba yung communication skills na kailangan nila. Kailangan din natin silang i-provide and i-promote ang confidence levels nila. Kailangan natin itaas yon. Then, we need to encourage them to be and to be able to have proper attitude within a work environment. So, ang practice nila ay yung classroom itself. So, maliban sa pagiging teacher natin, we are also being parents as well for these students because we want them to be holistically developed and we want them to be good models as well. So, this is the final part of our presentation. Thank you for listening to our presentation and we hope na may nakuha kayong magandang aral about this article. A mixed blessing, students and instructors' perspectives about off-task technology use in the academic classroom.